You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 8687.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
All right, this is Jessie. How you doing out there today? You know I miss you when we're not talking. And yes, I've said it before. What a day. I will say at least North Korea didn't launch anything today. But that doesn't mean we're done talking about it. In fact, I had a rare occurrence. I can't necessarily say treat, but I try many times a day and a week sometimes to actually reach KCNA.KP. What's KCNA.KP? It is the North Korean news agency. Yes, the official North Korean news agency. Of course, there's only one in North Korea, so it's not hard to figure it out. But there are days on end I can't reach that website for whatever reason. Sometimes I don't have time, sometimes I don't want to read their propaganda. But I thought it would be interesting in light of everything that happened. Yes, I know they just launched an intercontinental ballistic missile, and if you listen to this show, I know you know too. To read some of their articles from their perspective. Now, I will precede each one telling you that it's a North Korean news article. Don't worry, I'm not looking to spread their propaganda. I just thought it would be an interesting compare and contrast here. Some of it is actually kind of amusing. All right, there's a lot going on, and my wonderful recurring guest, Justin Kinney, and I are actually cooking up a new special. Don't have a broadcast date yet, because, well, we're still trying to get our compare calendars here, folks. But you know he always brings some awesome insights to the table. There's no doubt about that. Now, just to remind you, the two ways you can interact with me while I'm live on KLRN Radio. You can head on over to klrnradio.com/chat. Or you can tag me in a tweet. You can, if you're listening via Memorex, and I know a lot of you do, you can also email me at the station, jessiespov@klrnradio.com. Now, I've learned a lot about North Korea since I've started this show. Not that I didn't know a fair bit before, but boy, has my volume of knowledge increased. Yes, it's gone up considerably. Now, here's the show prep. Sounds like a lot because it is a lot. I'm going to be blunt, there's not a chance of me getting through all this today. In fact, I didn't plan on it. My show prep is mixed in with research articles. Research on what? Interesting little topics like how much foreign trade we had with North Korea. What? We trade with North Korea? I'm sure it's under the guise of humanitarian aid, folks. But yes, we actually have trade statistics on how much stuff we give to North Korea. So it's a fascinating topic. That being said, let's get to it. All right, I've got all right, here's the first article. I've got about 4 or 5 KCNA news articles. I'm going to read the first one. I'm not going to read it in its entirety because it's almost 2 pages, and well, that would take up too much airtime. So, remember, this is from North Korea. All right, so and this is dated July 5th. The scientists and technicians of the DPRK Academy of Defense Science on July 4th successfully carried out the test launch of the intercontinental ballistic rocket Hwasong-14, newly developed by them under the personal guidance of Kim Jong-un, Chairman of the Workers' Party of Korea, Chairman of State Affairs, Commission of the DPRK, and Supreme Commander of the Korean People's Army. Respected Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un supervised the test launch on the spot. Over a few days ahead of the test launch, he frequented the place where the general drive for assembly and the rocket launch was underway and meticulously guided the scientists and technicians in their busy preparations for the test launch. Feasting his eyes on the newly made intercontinental ballistic rocket Hwasong-14, he stressed that the protracted showdown with the U.S. imperialists has reached its final phase, and it's time for the DPRK to demonstrate its mettle to the U.S., and they spelled that METTLE, to the U.S., which is testing its will in defiance of its warning. The test launch was aimed to confirm the tactical and technological specifications and technological features of the newly developed intercontinental ballistic rocket capable of carrying large-sized, heavily nuclear warhead, and to finally verify all the technical features of the payload of the rocket during its atmospheric re-entry, including the heat-resistant features and structural safety of the warhead tip of ICBM, made of newly developed domestic carbon compound material in particular. Sorry about the English. I didn't write it. I have no idea who did. But this is the English version of their article. Specifically, the inner temperature of the warhead tip was maintained at 25 to 45 degrees centigrade, despite the harsh atmospheric re-entry conditions of having to face the heat reaching thousands of degrees centigrade, extreme overload, and vibration. The nuclear detonation control device successfully worked, and the warhead accurately hit the targeted waters without any structural breakdown at the end of its flight. Now, this is scary stuff, folks. And thank you, Flo, I see you've joined me in chat. Outstanding. Alright, so Kim Jong-un watched the flight of the rocket displayed on monitors at the observation post. He analyzed the results of the test fire of the Hwasong-14 and declared that it was a very great success. He, with a broad smile on his face, told officials, scientists, and technicians that the U.S. would be displeased to witness the DPRK's strategic option, as it was given a, quote, package of gifts, unquote, incurring its disfavor by the DPRK on its Independence Day, calling on them to frequently send big and small, quote, unquote, gift packages to the Yankees, as ever so that they would not feel weary. Don't ask me what that means, but it sounds like they're going to send more rockets our way. Saying that the great success in the launch of the Hwasong-14 is another brilliant victory of the Korean people in their struggle against the U.S.-led imperialists, he expressed high respect and thanks to the great Korean people who have absolutely supported and upheld the WPK's line of simultaneously developing two fronts without any vacillation, despite the U.S. imperialists and their followers' blatantly challenge and manifold hardships. Noting that the overall national power and strategic position of the DPRK have been put on a new level, as it is possessed of an A-bomb, an H-bomb, and even intercontinental ballistic rocket, he said that everyone should take pride in having firmly consolidated the powerful nuclear war deterrence despite the hostile forces' persistent pressure and sanctions. He stressed that the DPRK would neither put its nukes and ballistic rockets on the table of negotiations in any case, nor flinch even an inch from the road of bolstering the nuclear force chosen by itself, unless the U.S. hostile policy and nuclear threat to the DPRK are definitely terminated. Alright, reminder, that was a North Korean news article for those of you just tuning in. So, I have not lost my mind. I was reading something directly from KCNA.KP, which is the North Korean news agency. It's not rare. It's rare I can actually get their website to work. So there. I've got so many North Korea articles here. It's insane. I could go on for the entire hour about just North Korea. But I've promised Justin I'll leave something on the table for our upcoming conversation. I am... Here's one of another article. Now, keep in mind, this is from the North Korean news agency, KCNA. Recently, U.S. President Trump on his Twitter said the U.S. plan to curb the nuclear development of the DPRK by use of China came to failure. Media appreciated that the U.S. admitted its military threats and blackmail, economic sanctions, and all other quote-unquote famous medicines to stifle the DPRK proved to be ineffective. The president of the Council on Foreign Relations of the U.S. in a special lecture confessed that denuclearization of the DPRK was an unattainable goal. This means that the U.S. recognized total failure in the confrontation between the DPRK and the U.S. The commentary goes on, since the emergence of the Trump administration, the U.S. has made desperate efforts to curb the DPRK, claiming that it can never recognize the latter's position of nuclear weapon state. However, the strategic position of the DPRK has been consolidated. So far, the U.S. has boasted its strength after striking the weak countries devoid of nuclear weapons, unbecoming for its status. It is nothing but the height of American-style bluffing and arbitrariness. The DPRK's possession of world-strong nuclear weapons put an end to the ready-made idea that the U.S. is the safest place. It's natural that world people say that the U.S. with bad habit of underestimating others and swaggering would not curb the DPRK. If the U.S. imperialists dare provoke a war against the DPRK, they will have to face those of faith who do never compromise with aggressors, are full of resolute will to declare destruction to the U.S. imperialism. It is self-evident that the aggressors will be doomed to meet a miserable end by those of faith. Warning, that was from a North Korean news agency article. I have not lost my mind. Warning, that was from a North Korean news agency. So, I found this stuff fascinating. I'm not going to bore you with any more of it. I know I have a bit more of a fascination with this than a lot of you do. And I respect that. I have a huge fascination with closed societies. I'm looking for one more thing. Okay, one more article I can't resist. The U.S. is we'll start the paragraph before it. The success in the test fire of Hwasong 14 at just one go is a brilliant victory. Sorry, someone was asking about Station Manager Ann in the chat room, and I don't see her in the chat room, but I'm there at klrnradio.com/chat. So let me just check one little thing, because one of my listeners said they're having trouble hearing the show. All right, never mind. They got it sorted out. Back to the article. The success in the test fire of Hwasong, remember, this is from the North Korean news agency. This is a North Korean article. So, this is from a North Korean article. The successive test fire of the Hwasong 14 in just one brilliant victory achieved by the army and the people of the DPRK in their more than half-century long imperialist. Sorry, the English is broken. I'm skipping to the next paragraph. Basically, they touted the success of the missile. Okay, so then they went on to say that the U.S. viewed their test launch as a global threat and is scheming to increase the international sanctions and pressure on the country to the top notch. The DPRK makes it clear again that its development of the intercontinental ballistic rocket is an option taken to defend itself by completely terminating the hostile policy and nuclear war threat of the U.S., which have lasted for decades over the country. There are several nuclear weapon states in the world today, but the U.S. is the one and only country that makes its daily business to impose constant nuclear threat upon the DPRK. So, like I said, they're still screaming because, well, we don't want them to have nuclear missiles, especially with a leader like Kim Jong-un. I'm sorry. What can I say there, folks? All right, we are going to take the commercial break just a few moments early, and I will see you on the other side.
You can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Forget what they said if you wanna. Turn your back on the country.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough as nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
All right, thank you for hanging in there with me while I paid those radio station bills. Yes, gotta run those ads. And there's Mr. Frog trying to stick his nose in. Hey, Frog, your opinion is not wanted. But, excuse me. While I grab a sip of water and try and see Mr. Frog to the door, I do have a couple of clips I didn't get to play the other night from United States Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley. So you guys are going to listen to her talk for just a few seconds while I grab a drink of water.
We have great capabilities in the area of trade. There are countries that are allowing, even encouraging, trade with North Korea in violation of UN Security Council resolutions. Such countries would also like to continue their trade arrangements with the United States. That's not going to happen. Our attitude on trade changes when countries do not take international security threats seriously. Make no mistake, North Korea's launch of an ICBM is a clear and sharp military escalation. North Korea's destabilizing escalation is a threat to all nations in the region and beyond. Their actions are quickly closing off the possibility of a diplomatic solution. The United States is prepared to use the full range of our capabilities to defend ourselves and our allies.
All right, so Nikki Haley on the floor of the United Nations was pulling no punches. She didn't like what was going on. She wasn't about to stand for what was going on. And as far as I'm concerned, you go, girl. Now, this isn't the first time we have heard someone speak out against North Korea. It really isn't. So, let me just pull up you'd be amazed at the North Korea clips I have. Some days I'm amazed. So what can I say? Here's one about Admiral Harris and Representative Moulton, it looks like, having a back and forth.
North Korea's artillery, and this has been well discussed in the open press, that a lot of South Koreans and Americans in South Korea might die if that option were exercised. Would you agree with that assessment?
I would say that what we're faced with is that on one hand, and a lot more Koreans and Japanese and Americans dying if North Korea achieves its nuclear aims and does what KGU has said it's going to do.
Would we be able to take out their artillery aimed at Seoul?
I believe that we would have the ability to affect North Korea's military calculus in preemptive strikes, depending on the type of strike. But I'm really treading on.
He didn't want to go into classified material there, and well, I can't blame him. All right, got couple more North Korean clips here, and then I'm going to move on to a couple of other things. So, because trust me, I'm not playing. See something. All right, here's one more.
How bad is this North Korea nuclear weapons threat, and is it something the United States should really be worried about?
Well, I think we should worry less about it in terms of a capable missile with a miniaturized warhead that we know works, that can strike the U.S. mainland or even Alaska. And we should actually take a page from the book of Clausewitz, who said that everything's political in the end. And I think the real threat is the fact that the long-range missile they're pursuing is a symptom of the larger problem, which is that North Korea has become a garrison state, isolated, a hermit kingdom, engaged in illicit trafficking just to stay afloat, and which constantly threatens Seoul with 8,000-piece artillery barrage at any moment.
All right, here's part 2 of that.
And nuclear weapons really are a symptom of their garrison mentality, where really the leader is the state is the society, and if the leader feels his legitimacy is challenged by the U.S. and by neighbors, if he feels like North Korea is in a tight place as a nation, is faltering in its basic sovereign autonomy and existence, then it may feel like it needs to lash out to defend its sovereign autonomy. And so really, to wrap it up, I think their long-range missile is a threat, but to me it's a symptom of the larger problem and the larger threat, which is North Korean instability and isolation. Mm-hmm.
All right, there have been recent signs of instability in North Korea, and of course we do know that they are one of the most sanctioned nations in the world. The other one used to be Iran. So one of the things I am going to work on for the Saturday Slowdown, when Justin and I can get our calendars together, will be North Korea and Iran trading missile technology. Oh yes. So, let's move on. I, for once, have had enough of quackers. Yes, quackers, I am going to see you off the stage. Oh, what was that, Host Kitty? Host Kitty says he's going to go get him a duck dinner. He's out to chase that duck off. Can't blame you, Host Kitty. Thanks. You have a good fun time with that. All right. No surprise when I tripped over this article today. Syria is preventing United Nations chemical weapons inspectors from traveling to Damascus to begin the work of determining who carried out a deadly April 4th sarin attack on the town of Khan Sakun. A team of international experts drawn from the United Nations and the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons issued a request on May 24th. Now keep in mind, this is July, and this article is not that old, friends. I don't have a date on it, but it's not that old. To the Syrian government to provide a visa to an Egyptian national to liaise on behalf of the inspection team with Syrian officials in Damascus. The liaison's job description, including arranging interviews with key officials, organizing visits to sites, and establishing contacts on both sides of the conflict. May had 4 months, June. Yeah, this article was in mid-June. More than 5 weeks later, the Syrian government has not responded to several follow-up requests for the visa. For months, Syria has sought to highlight its cooperation with the United Nations inspectors, issuing repeated invitations to visit Khan Sakun, as well as the Sharat Air Base, which Western intelligence agencies claim was used to launch the chemical weapons attack. Yet, at the same time, the regime in Damascus has stymied the inspectors' efforts to get to the bottom of who carried out the attack. For instance, Syrian authorities have persistently ignored repeated requests from international inspectors to hand over flight logs detailing their air operations on the day of Khan Sakun attack, as well as on the day of previous chlorine attacks on Syrian villages. Damascus has also ignored requests for the names of Air Force commanders as well as pilots who had responsibility for flights linked to Syria's alleged use of chemical weapons. It has also refused to provide the inspection team with a copy of the official Syrian internal investigation into the Khan Sakun attack. Wah, wah. Yeah, and Syria says, and some people say Syria didn't launch the attack. No offense, if Syria didn't launch it, or pro-Assad regime people didn't launch the attack, why are they working so hard to cover it up? Why? They want their names cleared? They can darn well give the United Nations access. Yes, they can. All right, so I am trying so hard to get off the Korean Peninsula, but so much of my show prep today was North Korea, and more North Korea. So we are going to take a different road here, friends. Yes. I haven't done this in ages. We are going to wander into my email box. Yes, my email box, Jessie's POV at KLRNRadio.com. And I'm going to read you some of my favorite articles and things, because I do subscribe to quite an extensive list. All right. There was a background briefing on the ceasefire in Syria. As Secretary Tillerson noted today in Hamburg, there's a lot of discussions ahead of us still, including about some very important elements, including how to monitor the ceasefire, the rules that would govern the Southwest de-escalation areas, all of these, the presence of monitors, all of this will be the subject of ongoing talks. Now, that said, at least they've agreed to talk. So there's a lot going on, but there's still a lot to hammer out. But yes, Russia and the United States have agreed to talk about a ceasefire in Syria. Mr. Frog. Now, the United Nations, on a treaty purporting to ban nuclear weapons, concluded in New York on July 7th. The United States did not participate in these negotiations and will not support the treaty. Over many years and under various administrations, we have made clear our willingness to work together with all states to improve international security and reduce the risk of nuclear war. However, this proposed treaty, which ignores the current security challenges that make nuclear deterrence necessary, will not result in the elimination of a single nuclear weapon, nor will it enhance the security of any state. No state that possesses nuclear weapons participated in these negotiations, and no U.S. ally that relies on extended nuclear deterrence supported the final text. So that says a lot, folks. Yes, the United Nations is going after all nuclear weapons. Yes, all of them. What can I say? What's going to happen? And I'm going to equate this to a very touchy subject here, friends. I'm going to equate this to gun control. Yes, I am. I am going there. You pass a law banning guns. Only the bad guys end up with the guns because the legal citizens can't get them. So the United Nations passes a treaty that passes something that says, okay, no more nuclear weapons. Well, then only the quote-unquote bad guys will have them. That is why no United States ally that depends on our nuclear triad or country that possesses nuclear weapons actually took part in this. That's why. All right. Now, we've got one more email I think that'll be interesting. An Austrian man who committed the quote-unquote gruesome murder of an elderly couple turned out to be a radicalized Muslim. Muhammad H. confessed to murdering this elderly couple in blood and setting fire to their house. He was first reported to act out of hatred and political motives, since the couple's son was an active member of Austria's far-right Freedom Party. However, further investigation has shown that he has ties to radical Islam, including possible links to Daesh, aka ISIS, friends. Islamic jihadis, I'm warning folks, this is not suitable. This article is not family friendly, but I don't suspect most of your kids listen to my show anyway. Islamic jihadists torture and murder a male model because of the way he dressed and his long hair. Iraqi male model Kahar Nushi had too many female friends dressed in tight clothes and was preparing for a male quote-unquote beauty pageant. Perhaps his style was enough to earn him categorization as gay, which in Islam is a crime punishable by death. He was thus tortured and stabbed to death for his identity and style, which violated Sharia norms and were viewed as abhorrent. And I'm going to say that if people say they want unvetted immigrants, this is the kind of culture you are opening the nation's doors to. I'm sorry, I don't want that kind of culture in my country. Now, there was a late Operation Inherent Resolve press briefing today. I did not get a chance to go over it, and I'm not in the mood to play sound clip roulette. Unless you want me to. I will play sound clip roulette if you really want me to. So I think we're going to hold off on the sound clip roulette. I will get this and download it and properly dissect it for you and have it ready for you for Monday. So, alright, moving right along. And I just found the notification about that press conference. It was not there an hour ago. But that's what happens sometimes. You miss something. Alright, so we are going to pick on a couple more things. For those of you who are unaware, we're going to discuss Mosul. Now, Daesh is quickly losing its grip on the city. There are still a few small areas, and I do mean few, small areas that are controlled. However, and we're probably down to a few city blocks at this point, and that is your host speculation. Because a Daesh counterattack stalls hopes of an Iraqi victory declaration in Mosul. Daesh mounted a counterattack in the flashpoint city of Mosul on Friday, delaying the prospect of an imminent Iraqi victory. Commanders said the militant group launched a wave of suicide attacks in the old cities around midday, threatening the government's gains in an area that had become Daesh's final redoubt in the city. They sent some suicide bombers today along with fighters, and our forces killed them all. And that is according to Brigadier General Shakir Rodan of the Iraqi Army's 16th Division, dismissing the pushback as a normal thing in any battle. The development appeared to underscore the fragility of military victories against Daesh in Mosul, where forces exhausted by the grueling 8-month offensive find themselves vulnerable to counterattacks as they try to reestablish control. Now, of course, these people blew up an historic mosque and the leaning minaret that accompanied it. They tried to blame the United States and the coalition for it, but they failed. Because, well,
that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
We had a drone overhead. There was no U.S. plane, no incoming missile, no incoming artillery, nothing. It was dead quiet. We had coalition troops within a few hundred meters. We are not going to launch an airstrike with troops that close, guys. Because that's not how you do it. That is just not how things are done. So, now let's check up on Raqqa. Yes, Raqqa, as I have just a few minutes left. If I could type today, we'd be doing much better. Now, I am going to tell you something up front. I'm expecting as many, if not more casualties, civilian casualties in Raqqa as what we had in Mosul. Why? Raqqa has been a harder city to escape from. It has been a harder city to get away from. It is surrounded on 3 sides. As of right now, approximately 20%, which isn't much, but it's a great foothold, of the city has been taken back by the Syrian Democratic Fighters, the SDF. The SDF forces are pushing from both west and east. Additional SDF forces are attempting to move in from the north. With the overall 55,000-man SDF forces made up of about half Arab and half Kurds. The units operating in and around Raqqa are 80% Arab, keeping with the ethnic makeup of the area. So yes, even in warfare, we are attempting to be conscious of the ethnic region. Now, that isn't to say that there aren't U.S. advisors on the ground with them. Now, if and when Raqqa is liberated, the question of who holds on to it and the potential role of the Syrian regime and Russian forces in Syria is not clear. For right now, the SDF and the coalition are planning for the establishment of the equivalent of a police force made up of local recruits. We're starting to work on something that's called the Raqqa Internal Security Force. That's according to a Canadian Armed Forces Brigadier General D.J. Anderson. This will be locals that will work for the Raqqa Council, so it will work for local governance. They'll be ready to establish that policing function, if you will, that safety and security element. Taking back Raqqa, however, hear my words, will not be the end of Daesh. U.S. officials have long said they have intelligence showing hundreds of Daesh fighters have fled Raqqa in recent months into the Euphrates River Valley, including some top leaders, and those running communications and Daesh efforts to build and deploy chemical and conventional weapons such as roadside bombs. All right, that brings us to the end of another episode of Jesse's POV. I want to leave you with words from a dearly departed friend. We knew him online as Scott Harvath. His real name was Sergeant Terry O'Hara.
For anyone going through any type of personal battle, whether it's cancer, PTSD, depression, a personal challenge that they want to do. They want to go climb Mount Everest. You need to stay in the fight. And when I say that, I mean mentally. If you're not mentally in the fight, if you don't stay in the fight, you can't win.
All right, and on that note, just as a reminder, folks, you can catch me on Twitter at Jesse's POV. You can email me at the station, jessespov@klrnradio.com. And on that note, you know what's coming. I'm out of here!